Well, I'll kick us off. I'll kick us off this week, man, because I'm feeling real love like. You know what I'm saying? spread
He's
the
he's
spread the
feeling like a
amore.
boy. That's why.
Yeah, I'll spread the amore. You know what I'm saying?
Never miss.
Nah, welcome to week 50 of Manifest Mondays. We got your boys back with you. We got Diamond, we got Z, and we got Amore back in the building. You know what
I hate you, bro. I
I
don't like
mean?
this. I don't like this.
Oh man, nah, man. But another week. It's a beautiful thing. We haven't missed 1 week since we started, and since week 50, we 2 weeks from a year, which is insane. And a bunch has happened over the course of that time. But we here every week. You know what I mean? Um, so today, we chopped it up, and what we wanted to talk about today was work-life balance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is like a thing that I feel like you feel it the most. You feel the differences the most when you
Mhm.
travel and you see how they do work-life balance versus what we do in the States. You know what I'm saying? I really think you can really see that difference, man. So, um, let's kick it off there, man. What is y'all's work-life balance? And the follow-up is, how do you feel like it's different for other people outside of the States?
Mhm.
That's a good one. I mean, for me personally, bro, I would say I think I do a good job of creating that balance with, in my personal life and just in my life overall. Because I believe, success, everything that we're working on is like a marathon, right? It's a long journey. It's not going to happen over time. So
Yep.
I believe for me personally, you got to position yourself, put yourself in a position that enables you to like grind hard, but still take time and do things that you enjoy. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's like life is short, man. It's not just all about money. It's not just all about success. It's about overall your well-being, right? And I think we're gonna get into this later, but I think success is a little different, right? Because like there are financial success, there are relationship success, there are
Mhm.
success in your personal life, your health, and all that. So for me personally, I like to make sure all those other pillars are being taken care of, right? So I think I do a good job of just trying to like balance everything, making sure that even though I'm grinding hard, with my work, other things, but I'm making sure taking time to like enjoy the things that I like to do. That
Mhm.
could be going to the gym, going biking, or maybe just taking some day off and just chill. Because I think that's important for you to like reset, take time off and smell the roses and enjoy the process instead of just like, oh, all day work, work, work. And then I feel like sometimes you prioritize work so much, and then you forget about the important things, your friendship, your family. Those things are way more important because I think we're just in that grind mindset,
Mhm.
So I think it's very, very important for us to like take a step back and then do things that we like to do, enjoy. And about overseas, I don't know. Like when I was in Europe, it's a little different, because people like they make time to like have fun, enjoy. I
Yep.
think it's more like an interdependent culture, right? They all come together and do things together. It's not just all about like the grind, me here in America. I think they do a pretty good job in Europe to like come together and make sure that they're just enjoying each other company instead of just focusing on the grind.
Yep.
I would say.
Yep. Agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think in recent years, honestly, actually, I think I've always been pretty good about having a good work-life balance. Um, I don't want to say I'd be horsing around at work, but
I mean, we all
I
do.
used, in corporate, man, before I stepped away from corporate, I've always been a firm believer in using your time off, right? I think it's important to maximize your time off. I think it's important to not just do your job and do it well, but to also enjoy your time outside of work. And even on happy hours for work and stuff like that. All coworkers would want to talk about his work, man. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about work, man. Like we are
Yeah.
not working, so I'm not trying to talk about
Yeah.
work. So I think I've always done a pretty good job about like drawing a line between like work life um and regular life, right? And what that balance looks like. And especially in more recent years, just as we get older and you become more mindful of your time and how to be intentional about it, I think work life balance becomes a lot more meaningful and apparent, that you don't want to just be working your life away and not enjoying it, right? I think it is important to do both, right? I think you should be working towards something, so towards a particular goal, but at the same time still enjoying life, because like you said, DG, life is short. So you just never know when things are going to happen in life.
Right.
And so it'd be pointless to just be spending all your time saving hundreds, thousands, millions, plus of dollars, and then all of a sudden just get hit by a car tomorrow, and then it's just like, well, that's so much for that,
Right,
So
right,
I think just being mindful of that, it's always when it comes to balance, I know we've mentioned this multiple times before, but I don't think balance is something that you can attain long term. I think it's something
right,
that comes in seasons, right? I think we're always in constant pursuit of balance, but I don't think balance is achievable for a long duration of time. And so that being said, I think there's always going to be something that requires more time, more people, someone who requires more of your time and stuff like that. And so, um, as things ebb and flow, man, I think it's really just about being mindful of your time and others, and just, yeah, like not buying so much into the capitalist mindset, especially like you guys said, when you travel overseas and see how other people live, it's crazy, right? We have this false perception that, oh, we're the number one country in the world, we got it all figured out
right,
and whatnot,
right,
and then you go overseas and they're like, man, these are some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life, and they may
right,
not have access to the same resources, the same things that we do, but it's just you can make the most out of each and every opportunity, each and every day, and I think a lot of other cultures do a really good job about that. And so I think that's something that Americans could be more intentional about. And so that being said, I think in more recent years I've done better about it. But like I said, I don't think balance is something that's achieved in the long term. I think it comes in seasons and it comes in waves, and you
right,
just got to try and figure it out one day at a time.
right,
No, that's 100%, bro. I was gonna say, like, I think you showed me a video before, and it was like you can't be in focus and in balance at the same
Hmm.
time. Like sometimes, like when you're super focused, you're gonna lose balance, and if you're super balanced, you might lose focus a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? And that's something that sits with me a lot. Like, because honestly, I think I'm I'm wavy when when I think about like work life balance. Right? I work a lot, like just whether it's on you know just working. I know I still work a regular job, for people that don't know, but at the same time, I work on a lot of different projects outside of work too. So
Hmm.
I really, I feel like I'm definitely working more than living at times, but that's why it's so more and so important to make the things that I'm working on like things that I actually want to do or like
Yeah.
that's in line with how I want to live, right?
Exactly.
right,
Because like what I'm saying, like I could technically say I was working in Sicily, right? But if it's in line with the things I want to do, like travel and investing and things like that, then it's still vacation at the same time. You know what I mean? So I just realized what works for me particularly is like lining my life up to be like the things that I do outside of this work
right,
Hmm.
have to be things in line that like I actually enjoy
Yeah.
doing. Because if I
right,
enjoy doing it and I enjoy the people I do it with, then you know what I mean? Like it's gonna all it's gonna always it's a good use of time for me at that point.
right,
Absolutely.
Because I think what work life balance is about is like right, is how you structure your time.
Hmm.
At the end
right,
of the day, I think that's what it's about. It's like you balance like the way you want to live and the life that you're living with work. And
right,
on the in the US it's that work culture. It's that the grind don't sleep, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I get
right,
it because I'm in it, but there is times where you gotta figure out ways to kind of disconnect from that at some
Yeah.
point because you don't want to
Yeah.
just work 75 years with your head down and look up
right,
and then you 75 and you
Hmm.
missed all the beautiful
right,
things that you was work while you was working through, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you gotta find ways, whether that's just like breaks, you know what I'm saying, or um, I don't know, just like I said, just however it works for you. But you
Yeah.
gotta find ways to kind of find some balance. And like you guys said, man, other cultures they don't take the work as serious. And I think
right,
it's because a lot of times they don't feel like they need as much as we do, man. Like to
Facts.
be honest, a
right,
lot of things that we get is just an overabundance of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even
Yeah.
I was seeing some houses in Italy, and the storage space isn't that big because it's like they don't have that much stuff.
Yeah.
Like
right.
we don't
It's
need a big
true.
storage space. Like right? Like
Yeah.
for what? For what?
Right,
We got what we need in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
right.
We don't need a walk-in closet for what?
for what?
I mean,
You
for all
know
the
what I mean?
Versace and Gucci
So
shoes, though, we do need a working closet, though, for all the Versace.
yeah,
But
we
yeah,
do. They
T,
don't You know what I
There
mean?
you
So
Yeah.
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
so nah, man. But it's just
right,
I think it's big to like. That's why I think it's so big to travel to understand like how other people live, and then just to
Yep.
remind yourself that like wherever you're from, that's not the only way it's like.
right,
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not
right.
the only way it's like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
that's what I say on that.
now, one thing I wanted to add to that too is I think it stems from like consumerism, right? Because I think
Hmm.
here in the United States we are like mostly consumers. We
Yeah.
want more things, right? And
Yep.
sometimes we don't behave in a strategic financial sense, right? We like put ourselves in debt to accumulate those things, and now for in order for us to maintain those things, we have to work more.
Hmm.
So it's like you have all these cars and buy all these things. Now you have to work more because at the end of the day, in order for you to like retain the possession, you need to like work and make more money,
Yep.
right? So
Hmm.
some of the reasons why we are working a lot more. And for me, when I think about balance, for me is I think we have to create our non-negotiable things that no matter how
Absolutely.
busy we are, we're always gonna make time for that. And for me
Yep.
personally in my life, I think I do a good job of is my fitness. No matter how busy I am, I told myself that
Hmm.
health is my number one goal. Everything else is like secondary, right? Because at the end of the day, my health is not important. My health is not great. All the other things I'm seeking, I'm trying to like accomplish in my life, I'm not gonna accomplish them. So for me, it's like health is like I don't care how busy work is, I don't care how got busy business is, and other things in my life. I always prioritize my health because health is to me it's not just wealth. Health is
Hmm.
life because without health, there's no life technically,
Yeah.
right? And I noticed that
Absolutely.
when I had my knee surgery, when I had surgery on my knee, just like not being able to do anything, not just sitting on the couch all day, life is kind of boring. I have everything else around me, right?
Hmm.
But not being able to like move around, I realized, oh man, this is the most important thing, health, right?
Absolutely.
Because all the money in the world don't mean nothing if you work hard for 50 years and then you get other money and then now you stress out, you got other illnesses and things that you're not in a good health. So all these
Hmm.
other things doesn't matter long term if your health is not important. So for me, it's like my non-negotiable is definitely my health. And number
Yeah.
two is like my family and friends. No matter how busy I always make time for like people I love and care about. Make sure I like call them, hang out with them, because at the end of the day, those are the people I believe are worth more than just the money, man. Because what's good, the money is gonna serve you when you don't have no
Hmm.
one else in your life, people that you can trust and laugh and celebrate with.
Yeah.
That mean nothing. So for me, those
Yep.
are the two things for me. I try to like prioritize and just like make sure, no matter how busy I am, no matter how crazy life is, I always make time for the two things for sure.
Yeah, you gotta figure out what your priorities are in life. And before we move on to priorities, I did want to touch on one thing. P, you mentioned it just about traveling overseas and seeing how other people live and whatnot.
Right,
When we went over to Europe in 2018, man, it when it came to that work life balance, it showed me, it put things into such perspective as to how attached we are
right,
to our life when we leave. Like, we were on vacation, quote unquote, but I was sitting there stressed about so many different bills and everything that I was just because we were in Europe for 3 months, right? And so
right.
there was a lot of things that like it was just like, damn, I still got to pay my car note and I still got to do all this, my insurance and all this stuff. And it's not like you have these things with you, right? And so you don't ever really realize how attached you are until to your life
Mm-hmm.
until you detach, right? Until you get outside of your comfort zone, you get away from like what your normalcy is. And then, to your point to your point, P, and then what Tracy also mentioned about taking breaks. When you actually take
Right.
a break from your regular life and go on vacation and go out and enjoy and whatnot, you just realize how attached we are to everything as Americans, right? Like you said, as as consumers. And so that really put into perspective. I was just like, man, it reshapes your entire thought process on what uh, a valuable life looks like. Like what success looks like, what financial freedom looks like, and all that stuff. Like you can't help but to have these thoughts and whatnot, and how they apply to your life. And it doesn't change, right, if you don't ever get out of your comfort zone. So I think that's a
Facts.
big reason why it's important to travel and to see things from a different lens, especially in different cultures and whatnot. But to your point, I think it is important to find things that you prioritize in life above work,
Right.
because work is always going to be a part of life, right? I think
Facts.
regardless if you're working, corporate 9 to 5, whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever the situation is, you're going to be working towards something, if you have some kind of career, right? I think in more recent years, focusing a lot more on passion projects as opposed to just like working a traditional 9 to 5. I think you find a lot more value in work because it's like I feel like my work is contributing to my purpose and my overall meaning in life, and so I think it's easy. It still feels like work at times because I'm not gonna lie,
Oh
like
yeah, oh yeah,
sitting here and making content for IG and TikTok and shit, it still be feeling like a job. I don't care what
yeah.
anybody
It's
says, it
facts.
still be feeling like work. But it also it doesn't feel quite as exhausting and as taxing as working a traditional job, and like you just know like what am I do what am I running this report for? This report has nothing to do with anything that I want to do in life, right? Like
Facts.
if it applies, great. If not, I'm just like I feel like I'm doing a lot of useless things and I could be doing a lot better things with my time, and so trying to figure out that work life balance and whatnot, it is difficult, but that's why I think it is important to prioritize like you said, DG, your non-negotiables. Like for me, a big thing is like travel and experience, right? Going out and adventuring. I know
Right,
Tracy mentioned it in the comments earlier, is adventuring.
right,
I'm all about going out and, meeting new people, experiencing new lands, trying new cuisines, all that stuff. Like that's what life is about, right? I feel like life is about learning new things each and every day, and so I think that's how I find that balance and not get so burnt out, all the time, because I think it is important to take your time off and do it and to utilize it doing what you love.
That's a
that's a
fact.
really
Yeah.
that's a really
Hey,
bad echo.
yeah. Somebody said it's a bad echo. Y'all tap in if y'all in here. Can y'all hear us regular or is it still echoing? Just tap in. But we'll keep pushing now.
Yeah.
Tracy said that's why it's good to see life from all angles. Then
Hmm.
you will know what does work life balance look like. I'm guessing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why it's big is to see how other people living for real.
Yeah.
To see how other people living, man. And I think to add to that point that you were saying is like there's some things on the non-negotiable tip. It's like kind of like a little baby mantra I live by. It's kind of like you're not gonna make everything, but there's some things you can't miss.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean? I think that's kind of how I look at it, right? You're not gonna make everything from everybody in your family. Everybody does, you know what I mean? Like if your close cousin is doing something, you might miss a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But you can't, my baby, you can't miss the graduation or something. You know what I mean? There's just some things
Hmm.
you can't miss.
Yeah.
Can't miss the wedding or you know what I mean? There's certain things. So you're
Yeah.
not gonna make everything, but there's certain things you can't miss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely. And shout out to Bree and Ray for tapping in as well. Shout out to
right.
Cass in here, but yeah, there's you gotta have your non-negotiables, man. You gotta have your non-negotiables uh and figuring out what that looks like for you. I know you mentioned DG that yours are health and family and friends.
For sure.
P, what would you say some of your non-negotiables are?
Um, I gotta at some point it might not be all the time, but I gotta have some family time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
of
I
course.
got to, you know what I mean? You just hit me sometimes, you be like, what you got going? I'm headed to my mom's house, kicking my mom and Kaylee's, you know what I'm saying, my niece. I gotta take a couple trips a year to Denver to see my peoples, man. I think that's the tough thing with me because I don't call and tap in all the time,
Hmm.
but like when I'm there, I'm super present, right?
Right,
So
Yeah,
sometimes the easier thing for me is to be like, I'm just take a trip and I'm coming over and we have dinner and I'm there when I'm there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
now to go to me is like some family time, some friends times. You know
agreed.
what I'm saying? And it might not be all the time, but sometimes I do need it.
Yeah.
Um, Non-negotiable for me is definitely just having time to work on my projects that I'm working on outside of
Hmm.
work, right? So
right.
I got to schedule time either before or after work to make sure I get in the things that I'm actually want to work on. So whether that's music or things with remote escapes or investing things, I have to have some time set aside to be growing in the areas that I actually care
Hmm.
about. You know what I mean? So I have to do that. So I think the biggest thing for me is like the time thing, just to connect back to that because we talk about, everyone talks about their numbers and stuff like that, and we're all talking about numbers to get to financial freedom.
Fact,
But what financial freedom is, freedom of your time is
fact.
what we're
Yeah.
not talking about what it actually
Yep.
is. You know what I mean? And to be honest, that number isn't as high as we think it is a lot of times, and other places just feel like they just don't need as much stuff and need to do as much things so they can reach financial freedom in a lot of different ways. Like, you know what I mean? And like maybe
Yeah.
an easier thing. Like if like just to put it in perspective, while I was in Sicily, I was at this guy's place, and what he does is they grow everything, bro. I'm talking about olives to aloe vera to fruits that I never even heard of. Y'all ever heard of persimmons? I had
Persimmons.
never
Yeah.
heard of persimmons.
I,
I
I've
had
I've
never
only
heard.
heard of persimmons because it's a color like a paint.
Never
Like
This
heard.
I've
it's
just
a
heard of
fruit
persimmons.
though. It's a fruit. It's an
Nah.
actual fruit. It's a fruit. He had persimmons out there. I was like, what the hell's a persimmons? We tried to. No,
What
but he
is
had
it though?
everything out there, bro. And what I'm saying is they brought everything from the garden to the table, from the wheat to the pasta to chickens with eggs, everything. So they had everything around them to like feed the family. You know what I mean? They host experiences for people to come in, and they just provide that experience for them, like, right? And that's how that they make their money like that. But they are technically financially free.
Yep.
They don't have to work if they don't want to. Maybe
Hmm.
maybe the work is going out to get the stuff out the garden and make sure throughout the year that it's cool. But they got a beautiful house, man. You know what I'm saying? And they made enough money to get by. So for sure, their mental health is going to be a lot better than people that's
Yeah.
always rushing. The people that's just always rushing and they feel like they're always late to the next meeting, and
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying, and they can't even give their all to different things because they got too much going on. And every time they even are on vacation, they stepping outside to take different calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That other person is sitting there chilling, like, what I mean, might they might miss some of the experiences that person has, right? They might not be first class or like be on the penthouse floor
Hmm.
or what I'm saying, take as many vacations, but they got their family, they got the food around them. And when you think about the basic necessities, that's what you need, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it was just cool to see how other people view that work-life balance because they
Right,
just understand what they need versus what a lot of times what the US has just told us that we need to have. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What
right,
we actually need is like is very small compared to what we think we
Yeah.
do.
So two
right.
things. One, what is a persimmons? Like what like what is it like is it like a is it like a berry? Like what is
Nah,
what's
it's
persimmons, bro?
bro, it's juicy as hell. Let's put it like that. So it's kind of I put it like a mixture of like it's like juicy as the orange. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It has like a skin, so it's kind of like a peach, but it kind of tastes like a mango. It was like, yeah,
What?
bro.
It almost looks
That's
like
a
Yeah,
a tomato.
yeah. That's a
maybe kind of,
persimmon.
maybe I
Yeah,
guess that one
yeah,
does. That one looks more like a
yeah.
tomato than
That's a
the one I
persimmon.
had. But it had like a skin on the outside, so more like a peach, but. That shit was
Yeah,
bomb as hell, bro. That shit
You
was
said it
bomb
you
as
said
shit.
it tasted like mango though?
you feel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
persimmon.
of, but
Yeah,
the consistency was
fact,
different. So it was kind of like
fact.
juicy, but like they had the aftertaste of a mango a little bit.
Right.
You,
It just
That's
yeah,
tastes fresh
it,
though.
I highly suggest it, bro. Get
that
you some
sounds
fresh
crazy.
persimmons, bro. Get you
That's
some fresh persimmons, bro.
I need some persimmons in my life. Apparently, I need some
Yeah,
juiciness in my life, baby.
come on,
But
man, extra juicy.
so that's the one thing. Two, you mentioned it, right? Is quality, right? I think quality time is one big thing, right? Spending quality time with the people and the things that matter most to you. And I think that ultimately contributes to your quality of life.
Right,
Like you mentioned with this family out there, in Sicily, they may not have it all, right? They don't have the 95-inch television on, their wall. They may not
right,
have, the $200,000 vehicle, in their driveway, right?
right,
They may not have the most expensive, purse and wrist collections, right? Or not wrist watch
right,
collections, right? But all these things are they're not necessary, right? I think they have everything that's necessary in order to live a great quality of life. They have, first of all, each other's. They have their family. Their well being. They have a roof over their heads. And life over there is a lot different, right? You have to
right,
pay for your home outright. So they own their home. So they don't have. the bills and everything that's associated with it. Yeah, you got to keep the lights on and stuff like that, but when you think about it, it sounds like a very simple life, but honestly, sometimes like the best quality of life comes from some simplicity. And I
Right,
think that's really when you boil it down to like what work-life balance looks like and how to thrive in life. I think it's about living really simply and minimizing your overhead at the end of the day.
right,
Like, like we talked about being overseas and being attached to all these fucking bills and
right.
all these payments for what, bro? Like, what do I need three car payments for? What do I need? What do I need to be living? Why do I need a mortgage that's $7,000 a month? Like what is all of this? Like, and so
Yeah,
I
man,
think,
get that
as
mortgage.
you see these things, DG said, because I'm bomb, I'm trying to live. He said, I'm trying to live in that mansion, baby. So I need that 95-inch TV. So
I mean,
um,
that's my balance, bro. Saturday, watching TV and the 95-inch screen, then a 35. That's my balance right there. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's just the more and more I think about it, I think a big piece of
right,
it is what work-life balance looks like at different stages of your life,
right,
right? I think that's a huge aspect to put into perspective too, because I like at 24, 25 years old, you're just trying to, hustle and figure it out. You're still learning a lot, right? You're still
right,
trying a bunch of different things, and you're just grinding, just trying to, like, because you have youth to your advantage, right? And
right,
technically we still do, at like our early to mid 30s, we're still very early on into life in the grand scheme of things, right? But as you get older and wiser, I would hope you get wiser as you get older, but as you get older and wiser, I think your quality of life changes, and I think that ultimately leads to the change in your work-life balance and understanding that I don't need to work 60-hour work weeks in
right,
order to make it happen. In order, like,
right,
yes, of course, you want to be shaking and baking and making ends meet and doing all of this, but when you realize that, hey, like, I could do all that but
right,
still keep my overhead low, and so therefore I don't need as much, right? I
right,
don't need a salary of 170K to live a lifestyle that I want.
right,
Like, I can very easily live my lifestyle off of 60, 70K a year. Now I'm still making more than that, but it's just like that's all I need in order to, like, to have everything and do everything that I want. Like, absolutely, I can make it happen. And so I think that's a big piece, is like your work life balance looks different at different chapters of
right.
your life.
I mean, Z, I need the G Wagon and the Ferrari, so I would probably
Just
need
stop playing
more than
with me.
He
160K.
said, "Nah, I need all of that." He said, "Fuck balance. I'm gonna have it all, baby." Like,
Right. No, but that's what I'm starting to learn though. You can like have it in the sense that I feel like once you are happy, right? Let's say
hmm
if you have a job, once you're happy and you're not neglecting those, like you're not neglecting your non-negotiable because like everybody's like different, right? There are things that are important to me. I'm sure other people don't care about it, right? So just knowing yourself, who you are as a person, right? Once you're not neglecting the things and people who are important to you,
hmm
I personally believe that you have that balance, right? If
yeah,
your kids and family are important to you, once you're spending time and not neglecting them, not spending a lot
hmm
of times out of office every day,
hmm
to me that's success right there because you have that balance. If fitness is important to you, if you are making time for the gym, that's the balance right there. If you it's nonprofits important to you, if you like, let's say you're mentoring kids, and if you're making time for them, that's for me, that's the balance. So for me, it's just like it all depends on that person what is important to you.
yeah,
So if you're able to like make time with your girl, spend time with your brothers and all that, if that's important to you, that's the balance right there. Because like we all have different goals and aspirations. Like some of
hmm
us want to live in a big mansion, some of us don't really care, right? At the end of the
yeah,
day, I think once you're not neglecting the things that are important to you, because I think most of the time we just chase money
yeah,
and success, and we neglect all the other important things. At the end of the day, then you realize you have all this massive success. Now you lose your wife and kids because you never spent time with them in that building stage. You're
hmm
so consumed with work
yep,
and money.
yep,
All your friends, your family, your mom, your brothers. Like so,
hmm
that's kind of what for me. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to be that guy who is just chasing that number, and
hmm
then he's neglecting his family, his friends,
exactly,
Hmm.
his
yeah,
relationships. To me, that's
hmm
not balanced. I need to have it all. I need to have that person. So if it means like me cutting back on work to spend time with my family to build that relationship,
Yeah.
especially in our early developmental years. To me, that's important to me.
Yeah. You mentioned one thing is being balanced, but specifically you mentioned the gym. Fellas, don't skip leg day, man. I need you to have balance. Don't be having them big ass upper bodies and have no lower bodies, man. I need balance, man. You gotta have balance, fellas. Don't skip leg day. Don't forget that. That balance is important. You can't be having these big ass upper bodies and then no fucking like chicken ass legs. No, bro, it don't work. We need balance. Anyways, that's besides the point. So a big theme I think of a big theme of what we've been talking about is like uh what success and what rich the idea of what rich looks like in our lives, right? You know, so that being said, like what do you think in regards to like work life balance, like how do you think that contributes to like what our idea of rich is and how that applies to your life?
I think our idea, Rich, is really American based, and it makes sense, right? We live in America, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes when we say we hear the word rich, we automatically think money, right? And
Right,
we
Mhm.
a lot of it too. You know what I'm saying? That's how I think when somebody says he's rich, where would your mind go? For
money.
sure, money, right?
Yeah.
Like you're for sure, you're like your mind goes there. You know what I mean? But as you kind of move on in life, you start realizing that me and Z had this conversation on the phone while I was out there, and I was just like, would you be financially free if you had $1 million but no bills? Changes things, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes you might think that your financial freedom number isn't just 1 million, or might need to be 10 or 40 or whatever. But if you had no bills,
Right,
you might be financially free. You know what I'm saying? Or like,
right,
so I think but to circle back to the main question of what rich is, I think it's understanding your own values and not neglecting the things within that. You know what I mean? To have I think it's to have an abundance of the things that you actually care about. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So if if your thing is family and you know what I'm saying, you get to see you have a big dinner with your family twice a week or once a week, you know what I'm saying, and everybody comes, and to somebody that's a super rich life. And
Mhm.
there's
right,
somebody that only cares about money, that doesn't never has family around, never has time for family, never does the big dinners and family reunions and stuff like
Mhm.
that. If that's all they care about is possessions, then I guess that's rich. But you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but I think it comes down to like what you put value in.
right.
You know, I think we was talking about a little bit before we hopped on here. There's like a quote where Bob Marley, the dude is asking him like, have you know, have you are you rich? And he like pauses and he's like, what do you mean by rich? And the dude was like, like a lot of money, a lot
How?
of possessions.
Yeah,
And then in the end, Bob Marley was like possessions make you rich? He's like, no, I got
right,
my people. I got life forever. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I got, I'm gonna live. My legacy will live forever through. I got peace and love. I got, you know what I mean? People that
Mhm.
love, like, care about me around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, possessions don't. That's not how I measure my worth of rich.
Mhm.
right,
So it just changes over time, and I think you you get on the track to build, but after you start building and getting to certain things, you realize that you want that to keep moving up without taking more of your time, so you can spend time in the other areas that you still want to make yourself rich in,
Mhm.
whether that's
right,
gym, whatever your pillars are, family,
Mhm.
right,
friend time, traveling, exploring, like whatever those things are. So I think that's rich should be a personal thing. Like, what's your values for real?
right,
Mhm.
If like you people like looking fly because for you, and you like getting all the fly shit for you because it makes you feel good. That's your
Yeah.
value. That's
right,
cool.
Mhm.
But
right,
I feel like it's not a real value if you're only doing it for like for the look for other people. You
right,
know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I think
right,
like when you measure your values based off what on
right,
you. You know what I mean?
right.
That's what rich is.
Mhm.
Right. That's great, Ramon. I love it. And I would say, bro, yeah, I agree, man. I think to answer that question, are you rich? I'll say, hell yeah, I'm rich. Because at the end of the day, I'm rich in health. I'm rich in,
Mhm.
like family, love. I have people that love and care about me, have great friends. So absolutely, I wouldn't trade that for anything. And when I look at rich, bro, to me, I think health, and I'm going to talk about health a lot. Health is number one. Because I believe the money don't mean nothing when you don't have health, right? Because like
Mhm.
if someone walk up to you right now, all right, I'm gonna give you 20 mil, but you're gonna be in the worst health ever for 20 years. Are you gonna take that money? So that just shows that money is a tool, but money is not what we are striving for at the end of the day. health is the number one goal, because once we have health, everything else comes together. So for sure, I would say I'm rich, man. I have people that love me, I care about. I'm rich
Hmm.
in knowledge. I have freedom. I can move whenever I want to. I'm not in jail, so absolutely.
Hmm.
And the monetary richness will definitely come, right? I think everything we're doing constantly is just like planting a seed. We already planted the seed, right? So it's just gonna take time. At the end of the day, our bank account gonna reflect that number. So yeah, for sure. Just based on what I have right now, every day I'm grateful. Life,
Hmm.
families, and all that. So for sure, bro, I'm rich. I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade my life for anything else right now.
Agreed. Agreed. I would echo in that same sentiment. I think I'm very rich. I'm bomb first and foremost.
I
Secondly,
forgot to add that.
secondly, I have amazing people around me at each and every corner and crevice of my life. I can find so many people, man. So many amazing people at that. So that being said, I know that I'm mentally rich. I know I'm spiritually rich. I love my relationship with God and like a higher being. I love my relationship with the universe and energy and the exchange of energy, right? So I know that I'm spiritually rich. I know that I bring a lot of when we say energy is currency, like that being rich in energy is important to me, and just
Yeah.
like putting out into the world what you want to receive, and I think I make my presence felt in each and every room, so I know that I'm rich when it comes to my energy, and I know that my pockets aren't quite in line with the richness like of everything, but I'm working on it, right? I'm
Right,
getting there each and every day, and so I
That's
think
boom.
right,
that's the big thing is growth, right? And so I think I am rich in growth, right? I'm always constantly seeking growth and seeking ways to be better each and every day, which like we said, contributes to your health, because your mental health is most important above all else, you know um and yeah, I think, yeah, in a lot of ways I'm rich. My pockets will align at one point,
for
at some
sure.
point, as far as like where I want to be, right? Like
Easy.
Right,
when we talk about financial freedom, that's really what the goal is. Like, we were talking about you mentioned Bob Marley and what rich looks like to him. At the end of the day, I know I'm rich in energy, I'm rich in people, I'm rich in vibes, I'm rich, mentally, spiritually. But, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal for me is to be able to like really provide for my people at the
right,
end of the day. And I know when I do
right,
that, that's when I've really attained my ultimate goal, right?
right.
Like
Financial,
financial
sure.
freedom,
Right,
and being able to provide not just for myself, but for the people around me, and ensuring that they have what they need in order to thrive, because generational wealth and resources and access, it starts with one person, right? And so it's like,
right,
why can't I be that one person to provide that? And so I know that's coming in time, man. But overall, if I'm looking from the grand perspective of things, I'm very rich.
right,
Oh, she said I'm rich in making beats. I'm rich in
Come on.
right,
creativity, baby. I'm
That's a
rich in
right,
fact.
creativity.
right,
Know,
That's a fact, man.
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, I
And that's
appreciate you, Tracy.
Yeah, that's
hard to say
fire.
I'm rich because I have y'all. It's true, man. Because I think
Come on,
one
man.
thing is like, I think success is subjective, right? Because at the end of the day, that person who wanted to be a high school teacher, right, and that was your goal, and you went to college, and now you're a teacher. That's success to me, right? Because I think at the end of the day, with social media and all that, our perception of success is a little different, right? We try to like
Mhm.
compare our life to other people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn, he got a Bugatti. I don't have a Bugatti. That way, I feel inadequate, right? I'm not successful. But it all depends. If your goal was to like maybe buy a mom, I don't know, take her on a vacation. That was your goal. That's success to you, right? It shouldn't be measured to what other people are doing, because at the end of the
agreed.
day, other people are going to be doing like way bigger things, right?
No
So
matter
it's
Hmm.
not, success
what you
should,
do, no
Yeah,
matter
no matter
what you
what you
do,
do.
no matter what level
So
you're
how
at.
gonna like, okay, all right, Z just bought a yacht. All right, my yacht is 24, not his yacht is 54. So like, am I successful because his yacht is bigger than mine? You know what I'm saying? When does it stop, right? When do we stop that comparison? Because I think most of the time when we compare our life to other people, that's when we feel inadequate, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
kind of hard
mhm,
sometimes when you see people around you, doing things. Like, oh, damn, I'm not at that level yet. But do you
Yeah,
have something in your life that you are proud of? That's something that
exactly.
you always wanted to do, and you accomplished that thing. That's success right there.
Hmm.
Now you can
yeah,
like build up and work on other things. But I think most of the time we're so fixated on like what we're so focused on the lack, and we don't take time to reflect what we have. If you just
That's a
sit back
fact.
and realize, you
Mhm.
sit around, bro. Because I was having a conversation with one of my other friends. He was like, "Bro, you're lucky, man. You got a lot of great friends. Because I see, and I wish I have that." And I was like, "Damn."
I get that
Yeah,
He's like, "I wish I
a
have
lot
that."
too.
yeah,
And I
It's
was
a,
like,
I
"Yeah,
get that
damn."
often.
a lot of people wish they had a circle like
Mhm.
this. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like it's
Facts.
crazy. Like sometimes we don't take we don't realize how important the things and people have in our life. Other people are like, I don't have that.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
don't have people that I can travel with. I don't have people that are trustworthy who got my back. They're not gonna like say something behind my back. They're always gonna support me no matter if I'm there or not. They're not gonna allow other people to say stuff about me. They go like, nah, that's my bro. And I'm like, damn, that's dope to
Yeah,
have those things. It's worth more than just having money in the bank account, bro.
For sure.
What's the point of just having money when you
yeah,
don't have no one
exactly,
that you can trust, right? What's the
exactly.
point?
And
You
Yeah,
know?
I,
sometimes money doesn't mean as much as we think it does. Like what if somebody like it doesn't always mean that you worked for it or built it
Right,
up. If you just like you might have just got like $10 million, just you know what I'm saying? You might have just
right,
been like got a trust fund with 10 million
right,
in it.
mhm.
What
right,
does that mean for the person that like made 100,000, but they grinded for it. Like
Mhm.
it's you
right,
two different things, right?
Yeah,
It's two.
right,
It doesn't mean the same thing. You got different access, but that don't mean you a good person. That don't mean you got
right,
good people
exactly.
around you. That don't mean you got good energy. That don't mean none of that. You know what I
right,
mean?
Hmm.
So I like what Tracy said here. I just wanted to double down on that. She said that's why your self esteem matters, man. If you in
Absolutely.
right,
rooms and you feel inadequate, there's things that you need to work on the self worth part. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
right,
The self, you got to get yourself in a
right,
better place. You know what I mean? Because if
Hmm.
it's easy to see the glass half
Yep.
empty. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like
right,
everywhere you go, because there's always going to be somebody with a little bit
right,
more,
Hmm.
a little bit, you know what I mean? A
Hmm.
little bit taller. I wish I was a ball.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's true.
like
Yeah.
it's always going to
Facts.
be somebody with a little bit more, man.
Right,
So yeah, that's why you got to work on yourself and just be when you good in these rooms. I think
Yep.
people can feel that in all of us, probably like that we just comfortable with ourselves
Yeah.
first off,
right,
and that itself is rich
Yeah.
because a lot of people get money and then they do a lot of things because they're not comfortable with themselves.
Exactly.
right,
Like Diamond, I know you like nice things because you like them, but
Yeah.
there's some
right,
people that just I don't even know if they like them. They just get
right,
them to like overcompensate for the
Yep.
other
right,
things they're not good with themselves. You know what I mean? They
Exactly.
ain't
right,
got good people around. They
right,
ain't got good. You know what I mean? They're dating somebody that's not really for. You know what I mean? They got all these
right,
other random things, man.
Hmm.
And just the last thing I wanted to put on this is while I was on the trip essentially, someone said like this is so cool being around a group of people that move and think like this, and she's like I don't have that at all. Like you
right,
know what I
Yeah.
mean? At all, not even a little bit. And I was just like, I mean, it is dope because they doing it at a high level, but I was like, but I do have that though.
Yeah.
you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Facts.
got that. I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I'm most definitely I would consider myself rich. And the
right.
thing on
Go
rich
ahead, Ramon.
is I have everything I actually need,
Yep.
and I can do pretty much anything that I want at this level right now.
Yeah.
Now it
Right,
won't be as baller as I wanted to do. It might be not as abundant as I wanted to do, but I could pick a spot in the world. I have enough to fly there if I want to go there. I
right,
have, you know what I'm saying? I have a place where I live. I
Hmm.
eat every day. The basics is there. I got a car. I could go. I could do anything I actually do want to do right now. It
Yep.
right,
just might not be at the level I want to do it at yet.
right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
definitely, I feel like I'm rich.
That's for
And
sure.
piggybacking off of that, I think when you realize that when you have access to everything that you need, you can't ever not be grateful for that opportunity, right? To be in that position in life. But it also makes you put it in a perspective that more doesn't always necessarily equate to like happiness, right? Like I
Facts,
think
facts.
we're always in this mindset of like, oh, if I have more of this, I'll be happy. A prime example, I know we touched on this earlier, was or is I should say, Kevin Hart. He had a conversation, where Kevin Hart's obviously a very successful actor, right? A successful actor slash comedian, entrepreneur, whatnot. But in an interview, he was saying that like he's envious of Dave Chappelle, because technically he's worth more than Dave Chappelle. If you look it up, I think Dave Chappelle's worth like 50 million. Um, whereas Kevin Hart is worth like 400 million. So right, but Kevin Hart was like, I'm envious of Dave Chappelle because yeah, I might have more than him, but like that also requires so much more of me and my time. He's like, I am attached to so many things, like he's obviously He's got different movies that he's
Right.
starring in. He's got different tours that he's being a part of. He's got so many different business ventures, right? You know, he had his restaurant, right? You know, his vegan restaurant. I think he ended up closing it. You know, he has his tequila brand, you know, like kind of thing. So he's like, it's great to like have more, you know, because he's like, I couldn't have ever imagined that I'd be at this level of success. But he's like, also the level of time and effort and energy that I have to expend into this is way more than what Dave Chappelle is. Because to your point, right? Dave Chappelle could probably still have access to like a lot of the things that Kevin Hart does,
I
right? You
mean
know,
everything,
based off of
yeah.
status alone, they're like, That's Dave Chappelle. Like, hell yeah, let
Right.
him in. You know, like kind of thing. He may not be able to buy as many things as Kevin Hart because he's not well. Like he's like Kevin Hart is worth what, like, you know, five times his wealth, or not? Excuse me, not five times, like four times his
Right.
wealth. You know, and so yeah, he may not be able to buy quite as many things, but he's just like, Dave Chappelle could literally fall off the face of the planet for like a year and no one would care, and he'd come back and still just be able to go sell out a tour, right? You know, like still just, you know, I'm going on a 12 city tour and just sell out in minutes, you know, kind of thing. And so that kind of level of freedom is what a lot of people don't experience, you know, and so
Right.
that's why more doesn't always equate to happiness. You
Facts.
know, like granted, you know, I'm sure Kevin Hart is a pretty happy dude. You know, at the end of
Right.
the day, I'm sure he's happy and blessed and grateful for where he's at in life. But you can still be envious of other people knowing that like a big piece of the quality of life is freedom. You know,
Right.
it's something we it's a constant recurring theme that we talk about all the time, is the freedom of your time, the freedom to be around the people that you love the most, because you know that's where you really, I think, enjoy the most in life. You know, yeah, it's great to have money, but if you can't enjoy having money, what's the fucking point?
Right. It's true. No, that's a great point, Z. More doesn't always mean good, and that's something that reminds me of, like, in economics, right? That's a term for that. It's called like the law of diminishing return. So it's kind
Yeah,
of like basically just like a scenario. Imagine like if you're hungry, I give you an entire box of pizza. The first slice is gonna be good. You're gonna enjoy it, right? The second slice, good, but it's not gonna be as quite as good as
yeah,
the first one. After time, fifth, sixth slices of pizza, you're like,
yep,
it's not as good. You know, not because you're
Yeah.
full.
yeah,
It's kind of like the same thing like you were saying. You know, after a certain amount of money, like what's the difference between someone who's worth 150 mil than like 250, right? Because I believe that you can
yeah,
lifestyle is pretty much the same thing.
yeah,
You can get bottle service. I can get bottle service too. You can buy a yacht. I can buy a yacht
Yeah.
too. You
Yeah.
you know,
You
it's pretty
might
much the same.
could
So
buy a bigger one, but
bigger
you
one.
might be
That's
able
it.
but
to
that
buy a bigger
maybe,
one.
Right.
you know what I'm
Might be
saying?
able.
But
Right.
but they might not even have what's the, maybe a $50 million yacht versus a 30 or something. Like
Right.
it might not be even that
Right.
big a difference. I
Yeah,
feel you, D. I feel you,
yeah,
DG.
yeah.
Right.
And secondly, I know Marco said I would buy a yacht. I would never buy a yacht. Okay, let me just make that clear. I would never buy a yacht. I'm not. I don't
Never
care how
say
much money I buy.
never
I
say
don't care how much
never.
money I have. I'm gonna be on Diamond's yacht. Anyone who knows me, I don't care how much money I'm gonna be on DG's yacht.
I
I'm
mean, it
he.
depends. I would if I have the money. If I had like 100 mil, I
Yeah,
would.
you gonna buy it, and I'm gonna be on it. Like, is what I'm saying. I'm gonna rent it from you. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be, yeah. Tell it all. Hey, this is my yacht. They
You
like,
gonna be on
hey, I could have
Diamonds, yeah.
sworn. I could have sworn I seen this same yacht in DG story. Oh yeah, I let him borrow it. That's all that was. I let him borrow it. You know, but
Now
I'm gonna be on DG's
ooh,
yacht, man.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do a yacht and PJ both together. I don't know yet.
I'll
I don't know, man. It
I'll
depends how.
I'll buy a PJ before I ever buy a yacht, ever,
It depends. It depends how much wealth I have.
bro.
Because at the end of the day,
I'm gonna be on a yacht maybe like four times out of the year, maybe, and max.
I
You
mean, it
know, right?
depends.
Like
That's true.
why?
That's true.
Tracy said, why won't you buy a yacht? Do you understand how expensive yachts are?
But
like,
you,
like,
but we talking about worth more though. Like worth like
all right.
three
So
hundred
like
million.
realistically, if I was worth 250 mil, right, I could probably get a fire ass yacht for 20 million, right? But if I'm only gonna use it maybe a few times out of the year, do you know how many fees go into
You can
being?
rent it, bro. You
You
can rent it. You can make money
you can
with it.
rent it, yeah,
So it's
absolutely, you
like
can rent
so
it.
you're not gonna lose. You can rent it. So
Yeah,
it's like
you
whenever.
can rent it. Yeah, yeah.
So
You know, like, yeah.
no.
The only way I would buy a yacht is if I'm like, if I'm financially like, oh, I'm making a play with this. Like,
Right,
I'm gonna use this when I need to,
right,
but
absolutely.
I'm going to rent it out as well. That's the only way I would buy a yacht. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna buy it just for myself. Nah, I'm not doing that. If it's a play that makes me more money, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a yacht.
Like, how much money though? Like how how much you think your net worth have to be before you buy one?
Before
How
I
much you
buy a
think?
yacht.
Yeah,
Well, what kind of yacht we talking about?
it
Because
don't matter.
yachts come in a lot of different
That's
shapes,
true.
sizes, all that stuff. So I'm like, I could be worth 50 million and get a yacht. I could get like like a $2 million yacht, like kind of thing.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
um, but I think I would probably have to be like, I think I'd have to probably be worth at least 50 million before I even consider buying a yacht. And like I said, the only reason why I would buy it is
Right.
because I know that it's gonna make me more money. That's the only reason why I would buy a yacht. That's the only reason why.
I love Marco. He said I'm gonna buy both because I'm gonna be super rich. I love it. I mean, hey, I mean, technically, if I'm not rich, I'll probably have a PJ and a yacht. To be honest.
hmm
It's a
Yeah,
fact.
yeah. I'm gonna be rich enough to have both. I'm gonna just be on DG's yacht, and I'm gonna own my own PJ though. I'm gonna
I'm
own
with
my own
that.
PJ, but I'm gonna be on Diamond's yacht.
He
I
said,
think I'm with you there.
he
I'm with
said,
you on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And we can go half on the PJ if you're down. You know
yeah.
what I'm
You see what I'm
saying?
saying?
I
You
mean,
see what I'm
why
saying?
can't we just go all in the yacht though? If we go three ways, I mean, it's not gonna cost a
I'd be
lot.
open. I'd be open to that. Like you said, if it can make
Yeah.
money, I'd be
If it
open
can
to
No,
it.
make
but
money.
it will. It's not just gonna be there
Yeah.
collecting dust. Because I know the other people gonna be trying to rent it too, right? So there's so many ways you can like. Yeah.
You want to? She want to hear my take?
If
I'm
it's
not. I'm not. I'm not getting the yacht. If you want to, if you need to hear it, Tracy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting the yacht, man. But if it made sense, like we all three went on the yacht, and it was
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying, off the coast somewhere where we lived. And I went out, like I said, I was just on a boat the other day, and that shit was smooth. Like that would be
yeah,
cool. But how often would I do it? If I lived in a beach town like that, maybe I'd do it a lot.
That's what
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I'm saying. Right.
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And they're smaller. Like I don't think I'd have a yacht. I'd probably have like a smaller boat that I was on. We asked them how much some of them was, and it was like 100,000.
Right.
If I had some money like
Yeah.
that, yeah, I'm doing
And that
that. You know
and
what
then
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were talking about work-life balance, right? That's the balance right there. After a long day of work, just go on a yacht, relax, entire family with you. That's the balance right there. Because I ended, what's the point of having 300 mil and you're just gonna keep everything in the bank account? You don't want to live a little bit, right?
hmm
So for me personally, if I'm at that level, yeah, I'm gonna live a little bit, like
mhm.
what Marcus said, PJ and a yacht.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah,
I think
man.
at that level of wealth though, like if we're 50 million plus, bro,
Right,
I'm not working at that point. It's just I'm doing nothing but strictly passion
right,
projects, like things that I want to be doing. My money is working for me, at that point. Like I'm
Guarantee.
not
My
working.
money will provide
I'm
my
doing
salary.
things I'm doing things that I enjoy, which like this isn't really classified as work to me. Like, like I'm still building things. I might still be building a business, but at the end of the day, it's probably a passion project, which is why I'm doing
right.
it.
Right. And that's a good point you bring up too, because I noticed that in order to like have balance, once you're working on things that you actually care about, it doesn't really feel like work, right? Because some
hmm
days your day is like, because when I'm on my job, because I still have my nine to five, when I'm working on my job, it feels like work because it's not something that I actually want to do, right? I'm like, damn, man, what time I'm gonna get out of here? But when I'm working on like the business and other things that I care about, it doesn't feel like work because I can take break and do it whenever. I can like focus and do it whenever and just sit there and like I'm thinking about it. I'm finding ways I want to improve this. So it doesn't feel like work. So I feel like I have
hmm
balance because it's fun when I'm doing it right. And that's why you see sometimes I heard some other people say that, oh, I was working so long and I forgot what time it was because it never felt like work
Right.
because I was having a good time doing it.
hmm
You know.
hmm Yeah, Marco said, "Do you have to separate both?" I'd be working on the yacht. No, I'm not working on the yacht, boy. The only thing that I'm working on the yacht is my shorty. That's the only thing that's getting worked out on that yacht.
Right.
Boy, man, no, I'm not working on no
I mean,
yacht.
you could.
No,
See.
my
I think you're gonna be working on something though.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think
Right.
you're the type of person that you couldn't stop working.
nah, I'm not ever gonna
Yeah.
stop. But
Like you said, if
it
somebody
won't
gave you
really.
300 M's right now, I don't think you could just like if they what
Nah,
all right, if somebody was like, I'll give you let's say 50 mil, but you just can't work. Or,
Can I invest?
or you could take the risk of just being like, I'm just not gonna take it and I can work as much as I want and get as
I
much
mean,
as I want.
what is
What do
work
you
then?
do?
What's that mean? Like, can I work on other things I like? Can I go to the gym? Can I like invest in stocks? Can I do
yeah,
anything
No,
else?
not invest. It's not invest, but just work. You just can't. We can't do anything work related. Like gym is okay, but you couldn't like monetize it. You couldn't like be a trainer or nothing. You could work
Right,
on you. You could buy the bookcase and
right.
read, but you
That's
can't
fine.
So
work.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
if
That's
I bought
fine.
a yacht, could I rent it out?
No, you can't work. That's kind of
That's
working.
Nah,
not working though.
that's not
It is.
That's not working. That's not
That's
working
working.
though. I'm like, that's not work.
How
I'm
you
like,
gonna
how's that work?
how you gonna rent it out?
I'm I'm gonna have my property manager do that for me.
yeah, that's
That's
exactly
work.
what.
That's work.
Yeah,
You're getting some work done.
Yeah,
Like it's
I thought like I basically have to do the work, right? But if I can just chill and it's just being done,
yeah.
I would take it.
Pay the
Yeah,
50 M's.
yeah, I'll take 50
I
M's.
might take the 50 M's,
Yeah,
bro. 50 M's is a lot of money.
yeah, I don't have to
That's a
work
lot
Yeah.
of
for it.
money.
It would be tough. It would be tough not to.
Because
But it would be really
we
tough. I
talked
just
about it,
think
right?
for us, I think it would be tough for us to not work though.
No,
That's
I
my what
feel
I'm
you.
saying.
Right,
It would be really tough for us. Like if you, we already thinking of like the loopholes because we
right,
got work. We're natural
right,
workers. Like you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's like I think it would be tough for us not to. You know what I mean?
Because I
First
mean,
off,
we talked about it, right? Like, what's the goal? And that's financial freedom. At 50 M's, bro, I'm definitely financially free, and I'm also able to, we talked about what generational wealth looks like. What number do y'all think you have to hit to like be at generational wealth? I personally, I think that's like 10 M's, 10 M's plus. I think that's
facts.
generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so with 50 M's, you could do a lot, not just for myself, but for the people around me too. So
Right.
um, I would still be really like mindful about like, how I spend money and stuff like that, just
Oh,
because I'm
yeah.
frugal, right? I'm frugal, so I'm not, I'm gonna be mindful of that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Work, we were that's the whole topic of this conversation is work life balance, man. And um, there's only so much work that you want to do, and it's just like at the end of the day, I want to be enjoying life, and and I could do that with 50 M's, man. I could enjoy a lot of life with 50. I already enjoy life now, so I know I could enjoy a lot more life at 50 M's.
Hey,
Marcus
real
say
quick, I just want to tap in. I want to tap in. Tracy been popping in, man. She said, but to buy that I personally would just give that cash to the kids or church, and maybe the hospital.
Mhm.
Shout out to you. Shout out to
Shout
you,
out to
Tracy.
Tracy.
Your
And
heart's
she
no,
says she's going to get 50.
your heart's
Tracy says she's going to get 50 M's, which she absolutely will. We
yeah.
manifested all of that, man.
Marcus said no, you're not gonna do it. Marcus said at least 60 mil.
That's
So
crazy.
what's
What
the
are you
difference
gonna do with the extra
What's
10
what
piece,
yeah.
bro?
what's 60 mil to 50 mil, bro?
He
Like
said,
what is
never
that
take 50,
doing?
but we can start the negotiation at 60. Bro.
I'm like,
What's the
what kind of
difference?
difference is you got another 10 M's, but it's not like our lifestyles are a lot different, bro.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, Marcus like nah, I want to
Nah,
have 10K 10 mil more than you.
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's another thing we had to touch on here too, because we talked about it too, right? The difference between like 0 and 20 mil is gigantic, but the difference between 100 and 120 is not that big at all.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't even get the logic,
yeah,
Marco. Between 50 and 60 M's, I don't even get the difference for
yeah,
real. Like, I don't think you would even feel the difference in that 10 M's for real. Like at that point,
yeah.
you know.
Shout out to Bree. Bree said we're all gonna achieve what we want from this life. You damn right we are. Every single one of us is, man. I can't wait too. I can't wait to be on DG's yacht, man. I'm telling y'all, I can't wait to that moment. I can't wait to that moment, boy.
Man, can I tap in one time because I'm fresh off this trip. I had a conversation while we was on the little boat, and everybody on there still like wants to level up. Now, like I said, I was for sure the youngest and brokest on the boat for sure, like 100%. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But that was the
But the
rooms you want to
bombers,
be in.
but the bombers
He
on
was
the boat.
he was bombing though. Yeah.
That's amore. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but nah, but I was having a conversation with it on there, and I was just like, it's so crazy because in your mind, when you was young though, you thought you had to have 10 M's to have experiences like this. And I was like, but we're having an experience like that right now.
Hmm.
And we've done that, right? I thought in my mind when I was young, when I thought that whatever the number was, a million, 10 M's, whatever, we had to do stuff like that to do like Invest Fest and the Broncos game in London like we did.
Hmm.
Right,
You know what I mean? To go to Africa and be in the
right,
nicest hotel out there. Like I thought you just think that sometimes that number is way bigger than you, but these are experiences that we're having now. So
Hmm.
to circle this all back around, bro, like we are more than blessed and more than rich, man. And I think I like Tracy's mindset of just like at some point you want to just be blessing others with your blessings. You know what I'm
facts.
saying? So
Exactly.
shout out to that.
Exactly. Changing lives, man. That's what we're here to do, man. We talk about it all the time. The whole essence of life, I think, is serving
right,
others. It's not about just like being selfish, right? It's about being selfless. Like, what can you do for other people on this earth, man? And I think innately everyone in this circle, you know, and on this live wants to do not just for themselves, but want to do for everyone else, right? You know, you got
right,
family, you got kids, you got parents, you got, you know, friends, you got spouses, you know, just a lot of people that you want to like, you know, I want to be a philanthropist.
right,
So I know I got to be rich because I want to be a philanthropist. I got to make a
right,
lot of money in order to bless a lot of people,
right.
you know. So um, I know that I got to get it, you know, and I know I'm going to get it,
We're
you know.
gonna get
So,
it.
but just because you was the youngest and brokest don't that's only gonna be for a short period of time. The next
Right.
time y'all go on that trip, he gonna be like, Amore is back in the house, baby. Amore.
Hey man, I love being that though. I'm not a person like I said. Look, my worth is inside, so
Yeah,
I'm
Right,
still in there vibing, joking. You see, if you see the story, I'm still playing and adding value in other
yeah,
ways. But the cool part is the young part too, right? Like the
right,
oldest man in the world, if he had $100 million, I bet you he wished that he could give 99 of it
right,
to get some to go back to be young. You know what I'm
yeah,
right,
saying? So I didn't feel bad about it at all. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I belong. It was one of the first, sometimes when you was younger and you would get around certain situations, you feel like maybe you don't belong in there. This time I more than anything felt like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Like, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Hey, I'm supposed to be in here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
For sure. Like, yeah, I don't have maybe the exact numbers on ain't a lying, but I'm supposed to be here. And, they felt like that too.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
Uh,
yeah, man.
let's go. Let's go to the comment. Marcus said, um, Z said generational wealth starts at 10 mil. All right. So Marcus wasn't talking about that scenario. He was talking
Ah, so
more
he was
about.
saying that 60 is where
Boy,
generational starts. That's what he was saying.
me and my life,
Yeah.
generational wealth starts at 10
I
M's,
mean,
bro.
oh yeah, yeah. You
I
said
could,
right. Yeah.
with 10 M's, I could live probably off of like 2 M's for the rest of my life. And like the other eight, I could bless a lot of people with,
Right.
you know, especially my future generations and stuff like
Right.
that. Like, you know, uh, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but not like it's weird, right? Because like 10 M's, you know, to someone who's like a 300 millionaire, right? 10 M's doesn't seem like a lot of money. You know, to us, 10 M's is a lot of money, but regardless of how you look at it, 10 M's is a lot
I
of
mean,
money, bro.
it's still a
10 M's
lot.
is a lot
It's
of
a
fucking
lot,
money,
bro.
bro.
And it's a
Right.
lot. It's even more when we know how money works.
Yeah,
When we know where to put some money to make 10% out of something. So like you said, if you had your two M's that you was gonna live off, you could literally put one of the M's in somewhere that gives you a hundred thousand
100,000.
dollars safely a
Mm-hmm.
year for 10%. You know what I'm
Yep,
Put
saying?
in the
You
S
can
and
do
P, bro.
that's
put it in the
S
S
and
and P.
P
it,
two
bro.
mil.
Put it in the S
That's
and P.
it, bro.
You could put it in a dividend that gives you
Yeah.
10%. And
Facts.
then that you would have 10%, you would have $100,000 salary without doing anything at
Without
that
doing
point.
Right.
You know what
nothing,
I'm saying?
bro. A
Without
hundred
doing
thousand
nothing.
salary, and I wouldn't have any bills, right? Everything
You
I
would
would
have
be
it.
paying, I would own it outright. Like everything I would have. So like, I literally wouldn't like have any expenses, you know.
Right.
And I'm just making a salary of 100K a year, you know. Just like you said, P. Like, if you had $1 million and had no bills, are you financially
Right.
free? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, I think you are. You know, because you may not be able to go and buy, you know, like a $2 million home because you only got
Right.
1 M.
Right.
Now you could go and
Right.
buy a $2 million home and finance it, of course, but it's just like, do I really want to do that? No,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So I think if you got $1 million and you got no bills, like
Right.
absolutely no, like zero debt to your name,
Right.
bro,
Right.
what
So, but I
do you
see.
understand
Yeah,
how
I
like
see Marco's point now because he said like, yeah, generational wealth means that the next generation cannot just blow it out. Yeah, that makes sense
yeah,
too. But still, it just like lasts
but I mean,
forever.
like, so then what is generational wealth? Are we talking about like wealth, like to where my next generation can just trick off $100 million, bro? Like, hell nah, bro. Like,
Ah,
fuck
no.
no. Fuck no.
That's a
If
fact.
my next generation tricked off $100 million, boy, I'll be turning in my grave. I swear I'll be hunting the shit out of them. I'd be like, fuck, man,
Right.
boy,
That's
man.
why you gotta. That's why we gotta set up things like we're talking about with trust and stuff like that, like to make
Exactly.
sure they can't. They don't even have the option to.
Right.
You know
Hell
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You're just not gonna get it like that without
That's
knowing.
it,
You know what
man.
I'm saying? But hold
That's
up, real
it.
quick, man. Big shout out to Tracy. I don't know if y'all seen that comment or not, man. That kind of made me smile. She said, you guys really lift my spirit up. Every time I watch and listen to conversations, I feel so blessed and happy learning new things.
Hey,
Big
that's
shout
what's
out to
up.
Tracy, man. That's what's
Shout
up.
out to
That's what's
Tracy,
up, man.
man.
That's
Shout out
what's
to
up,
Tracy.
man.
That's love. That means
I
a
love
lot.
every time you in here too, Tracy. She be adding
Yeah,
stuff to the
Tracy's always
comments and
active,
she be,
right?
Yeah,
yeah, always active, man. So shout out to you,
Tracy be
Tracy.
tapped
I
in,
hope
man.
we get to see you when we come out to Rwanda, man. Come rock
Yeah,
with
All
us.
right,
yeah. We're not. We're going to see Tracy
all right,
out in
all right.
Rwanda come February.
Marco said he's about to jump on. Marco,
No, he's
join the
not.
line.
No, he's not. You know he's not. That boy be horsing around.
Yeah, he posting around.
Anything that and like 67% of what Marco says is a lie. So don't so no. Like don't listen to nothing he be saying, man. Don't listen to nothing he be saying.
He said, how you come with that statistic, bro? He said 67%.
Two thirds of everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie, bro. I'm saying like only a third of it is truth. So that's why I'm saying like 67%, man.
67%. Hey, I love that number. Let's go 67%.
He be lying 2/3 of the time, man. That's what I'm saying.
Let's make it to 69%. 69%.
Might as well at this point. Just round
Add a two to that.
it out.
Okay, so I think one of the last things that we want to touch on, right, is
Yeah,
when it
before we
comes to
wrap it
work
up.
life balance, right? We talk about it all the time. Everything in life requires sacrifice.
All right.
So what how do you think sacrifice aligns with the conversation of work life balance?
I think it goes back to the beginning conversation that we were having about the non-negotiables, right? There's
Hmm.
some things that you're gonna have to sacrifice, and there's some things that you just gotta tell yourself that I won't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like for Diamond, he said like it don't matter what the thing is, he can't sacrifice the health part
Yeah.
of things, right?
Right.
Right. So like
Hmm.
you have to, but you will have to sacrifice something. You're gonna,
Right.
you got kids, you're gonna miss some soccer
Right.
games, you're gonna miss some piano recitals. You know what I'm saying? You are going to miss some things if you're trying to level up in other areas. You know what I mean? But they're just, I think that's setting the standard of some non-negotiables and understand that you're not going
Right.
to be able to do everything. You're not going to be able to go to every game, every cousin's event, every party. You're not going to be at the club every weekend. You're not going to be, you know what I mean? You're not going to even take every trip with your friends. You might miss some. You might, there's every concert that comes in
Mm-hmm.
town. You can't do all this stuff. There's going to be things that you will have to sacrifice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And you have to sacrifice some. The biggest thing I think I realized is like sometimes it takes sacrificing fun things in quotations. You know what I'm saying? It takes sacrificing fun things. So I try to make the things that I'm passionate about the fun thing that I'm putting the work into
Hmm.
because I know I'm gonna be sacrificing other fun things,
Right.
right? I'm not gonna like I said, I'm not gonna be able to go on every trip and everything.
Hmm.
So I want the things that I do to be like
Right.
Yeah.
fun when I do them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna be able to go on every trip either. And I'm mad I couldn't go to Sicily,
yeah,
man. I
Right.
was sitting
you
here
horsing
watching
around,
I was sitting here
horsing,
watching Ramon's stories like, man, I was finna block his ass. I was like, man,
horsing around,
he already
bro, horsing, horsing around, brother.
I was horsing around, man. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna
Mm,
lie. Can't
I,
take every trip.
I love Marco's point. He like what work life balance is for those who want to live a mediocre life with a mediocre job. Oh, that's to a certain level. I agree. To a certain
Hmm.
level, I agree. But
But it
I
depends
do
Hmm.
believe that
on what we think mediocre
right,
is. Like,
Yeah.
right,
like I don't know, like what's the name? I don't know, a mediocre life between Elon Musk and like someone who just got their rookie contract, and what I'm saying, in the NBA, it's two different things. But
right,
Hmm.
is that mediocre to us? If he got his 10 M's and he got 120, 20
Hmm.
billion, mediocre
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
perception.
I think
right,
that is perception. And to Tracy's point, I think you got to set principles in your life. Like I think, you know, right now, if someone were to offer me a $2 million salary, I'm probably not going to take it because like the effort and the what my life looks like probably with that $2 million salary, what's expected of me, is probably like that $2 million job, whatever it is going to literally consume my
right,
life. Like there is nothing else, at that point. It's just work is life,
right,
like, and it's just like, nah, man, hold up,
right,
so I don't know, like, just like we talked about earlier, more isn't always good,
right,
right? Like, and I think that's all kind of perspective. I think you know, if I had a salary of making like, you know, 200K a year as opposed to the 2 million, and am able to contribute to a lot more passion projects, things I'm passionate about, and just live a good life. You know, I like I could still do a lot with what I
Right.
want to. Now I
Right.
can't create the probably generational wealth that I want to with that $200,000 salary,
Right.
but I could probably set myself up in particular plays and be in particular rooms in order to make some shit shake, you know. But
Right.
I think it all boils
Can I
down to
ask
whatever.
y'all one last question before we wrap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why why do you guys think that we're so obsessed with a like that we have to be the person to give generational
Bro,
wealth?
I'm not.
Why do you think that we're so
Oh,
why do you think why do you think so
right.
many people are obsessed with that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like it can't
That,
be like it can't be our cousin that did it.
Hmm.
Like
right.
we
Right.
Hmm.
feel like why do you think we're so obsessed? Like what y'all think on that?
I,
I don't know. People like just being the one that I'm the one who like kind of like from I would say from my egotistical standpoint, be like I'm the one who broke that circle, right? I'm the one who ended that poverty. I'm the one who made that sacrifices, or about I would say me to say they're the one who actually did the work to
So
change
is it
their
a little bit of
entire
ego in
trajectory.
there then?
I
yeah.
would say
Oh
so.
yeah.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
say the generation, like we're talking about this before, like if you fast forward like 20, 30, because I don't even know who my great grandfather is, right? So technically,
Right.
if you want to look at that generation, they're not going to remember who you are,
Hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
fast forward,
Even if you left the money, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
eventually your name is gone. Maybe it's
it's
your last
gone.
name that's still
It's gone.
profiting. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say a little bit of ego with
Yeah.
that too. But like for me, man, I don't really care about that to be honest. For me, it's just like making
Yeah.
sure I change, I create the life I want to live, right? Because kind of like going to Marco point. Because he was like, let me touch on this a little bit. He like, if you want to make the money that will impact huge change, work life balance doesn't exist. I mean, I kind of agree, but a little bit disagree with that in the sense that you can still create work life balance in the sense that things that you want to create that balance for, you
Hmm.
know, no
Hmm.
matter how much money, like for me personally, no matter how much money I'm making, there are always going to be things that I want to prioritize. So for me,
Hmm.
that work life balance is going to exist. And there are going to be some times that I'm not going to have time to do that thing at a specific time, but I'm going to make sure that I am creating that balance because at the end of the day, there are certain things I'm not willing to compromise for money,
Hmm.
So that's why I
Yeah.
believe that balance will be there
Yeah.
for sure. But I
I,
do see your point, bro. I agree.
yeah. Speaking for myself personally, definitely a piece of it is ego, right? You know, like I think, um, you know, we talk about it all the time is legacy, right? You know, and how you want to be remembered. You know, I think generational wealth and breaking certain, I don't want to necessarily say curses, but breaking certain trends and whatnot, and creating an entire new route and path for not just yourself, but for the people you care about most, like, you know, my family and stuff, and even friends and stuff, like, you know, being able to set people up in particular opportunities that I know I couldn't have done otherwise. Like, to me, that compels me, that drives me, right? You know, like, to just be able, because I think innately at my core, I know in my soul that I'm a provider, you know, and I want to be able to provide in abundance for the people that I care about most. So I do think a piece of it is ego for sure, you know, like, absolutely, you know. But I think it all starts with one person, right? You know, like, is uh changing the entire trajectory of your bloodline. You know, starts with it takes the courage, and the dedication from that one person to figure that out. So, like, I know that whoever carries the Willard name moving forward, you know, you got whatever it is that you need. You know, you may not have everything that you want, but you got everything that you need. You know, and so. There it's definitely, there's a piece of it that's ego, you know. But, like,
Right,
you know, like I said, I like just knowing who I am at the core, and just understanding myself. I'm a provider, you know, like, and I think being able to provide, you know, philanthropy, right? You know, philanthropy is providing, it's giving, you know, like, and giving in abundance is just something that's always really inspired me. So
right, for sure. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fine.
I mean, everything is opportunity cost, right? The fact that we're here, there are certain things we're giving away to be on this live right now. I'm not
Hmm.
going to the gym right now. I'm not watching
Right.
TV right now. So I
hmm.
believe that when it comes to success, there are going to be some sacrifices you got to make to get to the top, like Marco said earlier.
Hmm.
And sometimes those sacrifices means that there are some days that you might not be invited. You might be invited to the party, but you're going to say, "I can't today, bro. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't make it." And
Yep.
it's going to be hard, but
Hmm.
those are the sacrifices you got to make sometimes to get to that next level. It's kind of the same thing with fitness, right? You can't just eat whatever you want to eat and expect yourself to be in that great shape. Sometimes that cake might be looking good. You're like, not today, bro, because I have this goal that I'm trying to accomplish. So it's kind of like the same to me. That's how I look at the balance, right? Because sometimes you got to, like, you know what? Even though I want to do this today, but I can't do it right now because I know long term this is going to make it a little bit harder for me to achieve that goal. And that's the same thing when it comes to business.
Yep.
Sometimes you're going to sacrifice. You're not going to pop bottles today. You're going to miss that trip today. You
Hmm.
know, by the end of the day, the goal is not to always miss the trip, but there are going to be some times that you're going to miss the
Yeah.
trip. You're not going to, go there. You're going to miss your school, your son birthday. It's going to be that sacrifice you got to make to get to the top. It's hard.
Yeah.
And not like, I think not everyone's willing to make that sacrifice. That's why it takes very few people
Yep.
to see at that level, right? At that magnitude, because it takes a lot of focus. I think you got to be a little bit obsessed to get there, man. I believe
Absolutely.
you can't just be average to get there. You want to take a little bit of
Absolutely, bro.
obsession to get there.
Yeah,
And it's hard.
greatness requires sacrifice. I think it's the burden that comes along with it, right? Greatness, we talk about it all the time, right? Normalize greatness, but like greatness, the level of dedication, discipline, of sacrifice, everything, like it is the ultimate
Right.
sacrifice, I think is what greatness requires.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. I mean, shout out to Max. You're like, no sacrifice, stretch your life, stretch yourself thin, less stress, run for responsibility. I agree, man. Sometimes you
Hmm.
gotta, like, gotta do the work, and it's hard to do the work, bro. Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think most of the time we know what to do, but to
Hmm.
discipline ourselves to do it, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like even some days I struggle, when it comes to like eating healthy and like going to the gym. Like it's
Yeah.
hard, but if you do that work over time, you're gonna get there. And I think most people like, man, I'd rather just choose this mediocre path than do
Yeah.
everything I got to do to be great. Because greatness it takes. Because think about it, right? Steph Curry didn't like the regular guy who's in the NBA, right?
Hmm.
Like to be at that level of Steph Curry, it requires so much more work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how many people are willing to like put in that work, that sacrifice, that dedication to get to that next level? That's why it's like just what we don't have a lot of Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to be at that level of LeBron,
Mhm.
Michael Jordan,
Mhm.
Kobe, Tom Brady. That's a whole new
Yeah.
level. You're
Yeah.
talking about greatness. It's like
Absolutely.
it requires a whole new work ethic. You can just do the same thing that got you $1,000, and if you're trying to make a meal, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen. That work ethic's not. It's not going to work. You got
Yeah.
to increase that intensity, and I think most of the time it's hard, man.
Yeah.
And I agree.
That separation, but that gap between good and great, we talk about that all the time, right? Everyone who's in the league is really fucking good.
Right,
They would bust any regular person's ass. Like I'm talking about, like it wouldn't even be close, right?
The
right,
worst player
Anyone
in
in
the
the
league was
NBA,
Brendan.
if you play in a game of seven, you're not scoring a single point. I
right.
assure you. You know, um, but that separation between good and great, to be that like generational talent, right? To be the Patrick Mahomes, to be the Tom
Max
Brady,
said,
to
not me.
be to be the fucking Nikola Jokovic and shit. Like, that shit is crazy. Max said, not me. He said, I'm gonna get a point. I'm getting a bucket. He
Hey,
said, I'm gonna get a bucket.
Max, you think you could beat Bronny?
Bro, Max can't beat me, bro. He can't beat me. Talking about Brownie, he can't beat me. And my knee's
Yeah.
hurting right now.
I know everybody talking shit about Bronny, but I'm like, Bronny will bust your ass. Like if
He
you if
busts a
you
lot of people's
if you
ass,
see him
man.
on if you see him on the court, he's busting your ass. But yeah, man, I
But
think just at the end of the day, I think greatness requires that ultimate sacrifice, man, and that work life balance that we talk about is, balance comes in seasons. We talked about this earlier. It's not. I think we're always in constant pursuit of balance, but attaining it is something that you can only like have for a short period of time. So, you know, the form of a baby deer on the court is hilarious, bro.
you got that Bambi. You got the Bambies.
Ah, DG
Hey,
is bad.
He said
That
he
boy's
said
nickname is Bambi on the court.
you turn your knees in every time you shoot a free throw.
oh my god. Hey Max. Hey,
Oh man, that's
just
crazy.
wait till my knee get better, bro. We on the court.
He said, "I'm finna bust your ass when my knee get
Right.
better." Wait,
And
just you wait.
I'm gonna post it on IG too. I'm gonna tag you in it too. But yeah,
He said, "I'm finna bust your ass."
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
That being
yeah.
said, fellas, any last remarks? Work life balance, greatness, sacrifice, anything?
Yeah, my thing is, man, to get to that level of to get to the top, it requires tremendous focus, man.
Hmm.
Hard work, discipline, dedication, sacrifice, and sometimes you're not always gonna have that balance. But I think that's what it takes, man. It all depends on what you really want, right? Because for me personally, I want something great, and I'm willing to put in that work. I know some
Hmm.
days it's gonna be harder, right? But to get there, man, I think you have to be obsessed to a certain
Hmm.
level. You know, you got
Hmm.
people might think you're crazy, right?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, the crazy people sometimes are the people who change the world. So, and that's
exactly.
kind of like what I'm willing to do to
Yep.
get there.
My my closing remark, Mark, is like I think we all are striving for greatness in a lot of ways, man. But just remind yourself to like there's other things more important than just the money figure that you're working for, right?
Facts.
So take a little bit of that energy and time and put it into things that matter too,
Hmm.
is all I'm saying. Like, sometimes that's even just rest. Like you can't even perform at your top peak performance without rest, but then your family time and just whatever really matters to you.
Hmm.
Make sure you get a little bit of that time and energy and you're putting it over there, man.
Right.
That's all I
Hmm.
Right.
say.
Right.
You know what I'm
Have
saying?
fun.
Because if you had all the money in the world but lost everything else that you
Right.
care about, the
Exactly.
money wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't
Money
matter.
wouldn't matter. So just remember those other things in between
Yeah.
time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to reiterate that is really just having your non-negotiables like DG said earlier, like like just standing on your principles, figuring out what that is in your life, not jeopardizing them for any dollar figure or anything, like, and just always being in constant pursuit of greatness, man, and just normalizing it, but at the same time not sacrificing what it is that makes you at your core. That I think that's how you stay authentic to yourself always, and so that's something that I'm not ever willing to jeopardize. I know that regardless of how much immense success I achieve, I'm gonna always be true to my people,
Right.
and I'm gonna be on DG's yacht. Just y'all wait, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to be on DG's yacht. I'm gonna be making it rain on DG's yacht, man. I can't wait. I can't wait, man.
yeah.
Right.
All right, well, I appreciate
Yeah.
y'all and everybody who tapped in today, man. And make sure if y'all haven't already to follow the Spot Network on YouTube because we repost all the episodes back on there. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the main place we focus on is the YouTube page. So
yeah,
Right.
it's in the link in the bio on the Instagram page too,
yeah.
man. But appreciate everybody for tapping in,
Yeah.
though, man.
Yeah.
Always
Shout out. We'll be back next Monday.
Yeah.
We gonna be back on
back
track.
on. We're
Yeah.
gonna be back on
We
track.
tapped in. We changed the days the last couple of days, man. But we gonna be back on track next week. We're not as busy flying and shit. Some people had to be in Sicily. Goddamn it. So I ain't gonna say no
That's a more
names.
there.
I ain't gonna speak no name. I ain't gonna say no names. But
That's a more there.
I will say I'm gonna be on the next goddamn Sicily trip. I
Stop
will
For
playing.
say
sure.
I ain't missing that one. I ain't missing that one.
Yeah.
The
Right.
next
Somewhere.
and
We gonna be out there.
let's plan the next Bomb Bros trip
Rich friends.
expeditiously.
Rich
Rich
friends.
Right.
friends, man.
Right.
We
Let's
got to
do
plan
it.
the next Rich friends trip.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate everybody tapping in, man. We'll be back next Monday at our regular scheduled time. We'll be excited to tap in with y'all, but we appreciate y'all always rocking, man. Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Marco. Shout out to Cass tapped in. Shout out to Be
Facts.
Easy. Shout out to
Bree,
Max.
Yeah.
For
Shout out
sure.
to Bree, always tapping in.
Her
Yeah,
birthday
shout out to
just
everybody, man.
passed too, so happy birthday, Bree.
Happy birthday,
Yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Bree. So yeah, we appreciate everybody for tapping in. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, for sure, fellas. Talk to y'all
Sure.
later.